Everything you're touching right now, your clothes, the phone you're using, was invented in the last 200 years. It took 6,000 years before we invented something that we use every single day. Who knows? In the last 0.1% of the entire human history, we invented all technology. In the next 4 to 5 years, and I know this sounds crazy, we will see 100 years of technological change and the impact it has on the economy and society. We are now entering a very special age. In 2001 was the first year that humans generated more data in a single year than in the entire history of humanity together. Good morning, everybody. Let's talk about the future. Good morning, everybody. I know all of you just got up. Probably the caffeine is rushing through your blood. But I want you to humor me. Please close your eyes. Everybody just close your eyes and listen to my voice. It's early morning. You're still lying in bed. And the sunlight is peeping through the curtains, touching your face. It's going to be a warm Slovakian summer day. You don't really want to get up yet, but you know the perfect moment has arrived.
Hey there, sleepyhead. It's a beautiful day, and you've got a whole day of adventure ahead of you. Let's get up and get going. Shall we go over your schedule for today?
Yes. It's your artificial intelligence assistant, and she's telling you that the perfect moment to get up has arrived because she's been tracking your heart rate at 1,000 times per second for 15 years. And so you throw your legs over the edge of the bed, and you look around and you think, wow, how much the world has changed in just a few years. There's no pictures on the walls and no statues or adornments on the furnishing. But as you get up and you grab the glasses from next to your bed and you put them on, the room springs to life. A dragon flies towards you. It's your pet, an artificial intelligence dragon. And as you walk towards the bathroom and you look at the walls, there's pictures that are moving like videos, but 3D. Photos of memories and NFTs, they once used to call them. And as you step into your office, your AI reminds you,
Hey there, you do realize that you forgot to put on your pants this morning, right?
yes, I'm not wearing any pants today, I'm ready.
Alert, alert, you have a meeting in 30 seconds. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, I am ready to rock and roll. And so you look out through your office and you see the Swiss Alps, but then suddenly the room transforms. And in front of you, there are 300 Slovakian facility management experts. And you say, good morning, everybody. Let's talk about the future. Now, before I go into my first question, I would like to know from those of you that just listened to me and could really understand the picture that I'm trying to paint. How realistic do you think a future like this is? Do you see yourself waking up one day with this experience? Sure, somebody said. Who was that? One person. Can I have a show of hands? Who thinks that the future I just painted is going to be real, ever? Just a show of hands. That is not even a quarter of the room. Who thinks that's going to be real within 10 years? Show of hands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people here are just putting their hands up because I'm standing next to them. I won't hit you, promise. Cool. Well, keep this in mind as we continue. So I come to my first real question to test your historical knowledge. How old is Homo sapiens? How long have we existed in our current software update? Anybody? A little louder? 40,000 years, once. 10,000 years, second. 30,000 years. Do we have any winners? No, we don't have any winners. 200,000 years. That's how long we have walked around like naked apes as we look today. And not much has changed. Well, a lot has changed, just not about our bodies. So the next question that raises is, how old is civilization? How long ago did we transfer from hunter-gatherers to farmers and to building villages and cities? 5,000 years. 10,000 years. Who said 10,000 years? Over there, 10,000 years in the back. Anyone else? 30,000 years. And the free refrigerator goes to the man in the back over there, with 12,000 years being the closest to 10,000 years. 12,000 years ago, we started to farm. And when you take all of that information and you give it to ChatGPT Advanced Data Analyzer and you ask it to make you a graph, it looks a little bit like this. Well, that's what it looked like 8 months ago anyway. Right here, we have the agricultural revolution. The moment when all of us started to transition into the start of civilization. Farming, villages, communities, being in one place. It took 6,000 years before we invented something that we use every single day. Who knows? Or who can read it? The wheel! Very good. Just think about that for a moment. For 6,000 years, nobody ever said, let's not reinvent the wheel. I don't know if that's a saying in Slovakian. I'm just going to look at Barbara right now. No? So in English we say, let's not reinvent the wheel. In Dutch as well. 6,000 years, nobody could say that. Another 1,500 years before we started to melt iron. You know, the stuff that's in these chairs, and in our cars, and in every machine we make. And then another 1,500 years passed, and then there's this massive blob. And I wish somebody had told me about this massive screen, because then I would have made my presentation fit on it. This blob, what's that? The last 10 years. Last 200 years. So what happened? Industrial revolutions. Yes, very good. Actually, first, we had the Enlightenment. So when we discovered science, or scientific method, really, I should say. And then that led to the Industrial Revolution, the first one, the second Industrial Revolution, then the third Industrial Revolution, then the fourth Industrial Revolution. And some people say, today, we are still in the fourth Industrial Revolution. I, and many with me, believe that we have entered the fifth Industrial Revolution. And I believe, and some people do with me, that this will be the final Industrial Revolution. And together we're going to explore why. So let's zoom in on this, right? So the last 250 years, throughout the technological industrial revolutions, 99.99% of all technology was invented. Just think about that. Everything you're touching right now, except if it's another human being, your clothes, whatever you're wearing, the car that you got to get here, the phone you're using, the plastics, the cotton, the polyester, everything was invented in the last 200 years. But as we already concluded, humanity has been around for 200,000 years. So that means that in the last 0.1% of the entire human history, we invented all technology. And this is what that looks like. So about 3,000 years ago, the pyramids of Giza were built. Sorry, about 5,000 years ago. About 2,000 years ago, we had Cleopatra. And then 200 years ago, the Industrial Revolution. And from there on, we're just going straight up. And in fact, it's funny because Cleopatra is closer to the invention of ChatGPT than she is to the actual construction of the pyramids. To understand what's going on, we need to understand exponential growth or exponential change. And a lot of people think they do, but it's quite hard. But let's see. Who here in the room wants to try and tell us what exponential growth is? Anybody? Anybody brave enough? Nobody? Absolutely nobody? I don't believe it. At least say something like, well, it doubles every time. Just, yes. Very good. What did you want to say?
That it's multiplied.
Multiplies every time.
Not linear.
Yes, not linear. Very good. See? So we got some smart people in the room. Exponential growth. Let's do a little thought experiment. Let's imagine we have a pond or a lake. And every year in spring, the lake starts to fill with lilies. And every day the lilies double. So on day 1, there's 1 lily. And on day 2, there's 2 lilies. And on day 3, there's 4 lilies. And on day 5, there's 8 lilies. On what day of the month? And the month has 30 days. On what day of the month is half the pond filled with lilies? 29. Very good. Did you already know the answer? Yes. I even told the translator when we prepared this, I said, nobody knows the answer. There's only one person or two that know, and that's because they already heard it before. Very good. I'm so proud of you all. So in the last day, we see the same amount of change as in the previous 29 days. Yes? Exponential growth or change is extremely explosive towards the end. If we look at technology, we see that it also follows an exponential path. And the reason for this is something that Ray Kurzweil, who is the head of engineering at Google, calls the law of accelerating returns. And he first coined this term in his book, The Singularity is Near, in 2004. And what he means by that is that every technology builds a new platform or foundation for other technologies to develop faster and faster and faster, right? Because, for example, in the 80s or the 70s, when we didn't have a calculator, we still needed to calculate everything with our heads, right? But now we have a calculator and we can do it much faster. And we can do more complicated calculations. And then we get computers that were even better, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is why today we have incredible things like smartphones. So to really understand the impact of the law of accelerating returns, we're going to go a little back in history. In 1856, a Belgian man called Jean Joseph invented something that we use every day. And all of you use it as well. Is there anybody who doesn't have a driver's license? No? See, then all of you probably used it. The combustion engine. Right? But it took another 30 years before they put it in a car. So from the moment they invented the combustion engine to the moment that Carl Benz, a German from Mercedes-Benz, you know, put it into a car, 30 years. And he put it in a machine with 3 wheels, and everybody said, Carl, what the heck is this? It can't go off-road because then it breaks. It doesn't go more than 2 miles because then it's out of fuel. I don't know how it works, so I can't fix it. We don't want this. Give us faster horses. Luckily, people didn't give up on the idea. So, another 18 years later, a man called Henry Ford, he started to produce cars at scale that could go further, were more robust. But the only reason he was able to do this was because he had to invent something else first. Who knows what else Henry Ford invented? Yes! Sorry. The assembly line, the conveyor belt. So the conveyor belt made it possible to produce cars far more quickly and therefore start to produce more cars and make it into a product that started to become mainstream. But it would still be another 40 years before more than 1 million cars were sold. And to put that into perspective, the whole process took 52 years. And if we combine that to, for example, Tesla electronic vehicles today, we see that Tesla was founded in 2003. And in 2024, there's already more than 4 million Teslas on the road, and there's a total of 24 million electric vehicles on the road around the world, and we expect at least 14 million more to arrive just this year. So in less than half the time that it took Jean-Joseph, Carl Benz, and Henry Ford to just come up with the car as a product, today we can come up with a new product and we can roll it out to millions or billions of people depending on what type of product it is in half the time. Any questions so far? No? Am I boring? Okay, cool. Just making sure, you know, you're all so silent. Barbara told me these Slovakian people, they know how to party, but so far, you know. This graph is logarithmic. That means that every step is 1 order of magnitude higher, right? So 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, yes? And it's a straight line, and the line shows how much computation we get per dollar. Right? So how many calculations can we do for $1 without inflation being calculated? So in 35, a little less than 100 years ago, we could do less than a 1,000 or a millionth of a calculation for $1. Here, in the 90s, we could do 1,000 calculations per dollar. That was the 90s. Yeah? You all remember the 90s? It was a great time, right? Who wasn't alive in the 90s? Ooh, we get some digital generation people here. Love it. Today, we can do 1 trillion calculations for the same dollar. And that dollar is worth less than it was in the 90s because of inflation. See, so we went from 1,000 calculations in the 90s to 1 trillion calculations in 2024. That's how fast we are increasing our ability to compute. And this is just raw power.
In 5 years, we improved the computer graphics by 1,000 times. In 5 years, using artificial intelligence and accelerated computing. Moore's law is probably currently running at about 2 times. 1,000 times in 5 years. 1,000 times in 5 years is 1 million times in 10. We're doing the same thing in artificial intelligence.
This is Jensen Huang, the CEO of the most valuable company in the world today, NVIDIA. And NVIDIA's stock price has gone up by more than 500% in the last few years. And the reason for that is because they are building the chips for AI and they're developing AI technology. And he talks about Moore's law. And Moore's law is a law established in the 90s by a Mr. called Moore. He was the CEO of Intel, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes I mess that up. But the point of the law is that it says every 18 months we double our ability for compute. So every 18 months, our computers become twice as fast. And originally it meant that we got twice as many transistors, which are the little things on the chip. But now it already means simply just our ability to compute, because there's so many other things playing into it. And for the last 20 years, people have been saying that Moore's law will see, what's it called? Diminishing returns. So that it will keep going like this, but it'll go like this. But every time when they say that's going to happen, it doesn't happen. And with this compute, we've been able to do incredible things. So this is 1997. And in this year, something incredible happened. Do people play chess in Slovakia? Yeah? Very complicated game, right? No? You guys are all grandmasters? Well, I love chess. Never been really, really good at it because I have ADHD and I can't really focus long enough. I'm way better with computer games. But in 1997, the first AI developed by Google DeepMind, called Deep Blue, went to play chess against Garry Kasparov. We all know Garry Kasparov? Maybe the Gen Zs don't, but the older people can explain. Garry Kasparov was the world-leading grandmaster in chess, an absolute genius. And when he went to play chess against an artificial intelligence called Deep Blue, nobody, not even the Deep Blue team itself, believed that there was any chance that the AI could beat a human. But lo and behold, Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov, and he beat him again, and he beat him again, and he beat him again. Simply with the brute force of computational power, which at the time was still $1 for 1,000 computations, not the trillion computations for dollar we get today. And the world was in shock. A machine could beat a human being. There's another game in the world, and it's very popular in Asia, and it's even more complicated than chess. Who knows what I'm talking about? Go, yes. I heard a lady say that. You men should all be ashamed. Very good, very good. I'll stay here because apparently you're the smartest in the room. The game Go was played in Asia, is still played in Asia, and the game Go has more moves than there is molecules in the visible universe. So nobody believed that a machine could ever beat a human because the belief was that to be able to play Go, you needed intuition and experience. So only if you'd played this game for 100,000 hours and you'd studied it for like 20 years, you could have the kind of intuition of a grandmaster that would allow you to beat anybody else. So when AlphaGo, which was the older brother or the younger brother of Deep Blue, played Lee Sedol in 2016 in Korea, the whole world was watching and everybody believed, again, that AI would never win. And then there was the infamous move 32. In the 32nd move of the game, the AI did something that had never been seen by any human in any game of Go. And experts around the world all agreed on live television that the AI was stupid and that it had lost the game with that move. But Lee Sedol, he was confounded. He looked at the move and he thought, I've never seen this before, but something is wrong. So although he didn't understand yet what was going on, his intuition already told him that something very bad had happened. And within 10 moves, it became obvious that Lee Sedol had lost the game. And he was shocked. He played 2 more games, he lost another one, and he managed to win on the skin of his teeth the last game. Lee Sedol retired from Go after that. He felt that this was the end. There was no more reason to play this game because a machine could beat a human. He was depressed. What I'm happy about is that the game Go became more popular than ever after this, because a lot of other people that had not lost the game itself saw that there was other ways to play this game. There was new strategies to explore, new possibilities. And so the game of Go is now more popular than ever before. And I want you to remember this, because a lot of people are scared by AI because it might be better than humans. But the truth is that there's already many humans in the world that are better than you at anything you do, and that doesn't scare you either. And it doesn't stop you from going to work or following your passions or playing with your kids or playing games. This was in 2016, so we were looking at a few million computations per dollar, and now we have ChatGPT and new models that are running at trillions of times the speed. But it's not just the speed of our compute that has changed. This is, again, a logarithmic scale. This is 10 flops, and this is 10 billion petaflops. Now, this probably doesn't say much, but just think about it this way. There is a trillion times more data here than there is here. And the data that we generate as humans is important to training models. For example, your children. Who has children in the room? Can I see a show of hands? Who has children? Yeah. All of you are in the process of training a model of intelligence, an intelligence model. Because a child is an organic machine with all of these senses like touch, vision, hearing, taste, and they get information all the time. And the information trains the brain so that it builds new neural pathways that connect and make it capable of doing new things. And all of you will probably remember this moment when your child was crawling for the first time and then it went like, Mama! No? This moment was when your child, this intelligence model, gained a new ability because it made new connections based on the training data. In 2001 was the first year that humans generated more data in a single year than in the entire history of humanity together. And from 2001 to now, every year we have doubled the amount of data we generate. And that data is now being used to train these new AI models. So it is the combination of the compute and the data that allow us to have these
I
new
remember
models.
reading an article when I was about 12 years old, I think it might have been in Scientific American, where they measured the efficiency of locomotion for all these species on planet Earth. How many kilocalories did they expend to get from point A to point B? And the condor one came in at the top of the list, surpassed everything else, and humans came in about a third of the way down the list, which was not such a great showing for the crown of creation. And but somebody there had the imagination to test the efficiency of a human riding a bicycle. Human riding a bicycle blew away the condor, all the way off the top of the list. And it made a really big impression on me that we humans are tool builders, and that we can fashion tools that amplify these inherent abilities that we have to spectacular magnitudes. And so for me, a computer has always been a bicycle of the mind. Something
A bicycle for the mind. The only thing I think he did wrong there was he should have said a bicycle for the brain, because it would have been a nicer alliteration for the copywriters among you. My point is that we are now entering a very special age. In the next 4 to 5 years, and I know this sounds crazy, but in the next 4 to 5 years, we will see 100 years of technological change and the impact it has on the economy and society at today's pace. So the same amount of change in the world as your grandparents and your parents have seen over the last total century, where we went from inventing planes to going to the moon to going to the internet, all of that is going to happen over the next 5-6 years in different ways. And right now, a lot of you are thinking, this guy's nuts. This guy's crazy. That's impossible. Because that's what your brain does. because our brains developed over 6 million years and the last 200,000 years as Homo sapiens, and they are used to linear worlds where things change slowly. But in that entire time, we did not have the technology we have today, and that changes everything.
Is it real that we're actually going through some sort of accelerating change?
Every generation thinks like that, but this time it's real.
Anybody know who this is? No? This is Yuval Harari. He is an Israeli historian and tech philosopher, and he wrote 2 important books that I highly recommend you read. One is called Sapiens, and the other one is called Homo Deus, as in what comes after Homo sapiens. But still, even when experts, unlike me, say, yes, we have something special, there are still people in the audience right now and around the world that say, this is nonsense, never going to happen. AI, it's all a hype. But the same happened 25 years ago.
Yeah, that's right, the information superhighway, the internet, the future. You. It's all hype. I've been on the internet, there's 12 people out there.
Who here hasn't been on the internet today? You have not been on the internet today? No? You haven't touched your phone? Wow. Okay, who doesn't have internet? Okay, thank God. This is what the internet looked like in the 80s. The Spotify right here, and your camera on your phone right there. And this is WhatsApp. And yeah, this is my video collection. Netflix. The world has changed significantly. We all have something we call smartphones, which is a really weird name, by the way, because I bet most of you, is there any Gen Z in the room? I see at least 3 here. Gen Z don't even call. They don't even like to call. They're like, why are you calling me, Mom? Just send me a voice message. They're not phones. They're brain-computer interfaces. They're devices that connect us to the hive mind, to the internet, to a global network where we share our knowledge and interact. A massive supercomputer in the making. So over the next few years, what's going to happen is all of you will keep thinking, Aragorn is crazy, Aragorn is crazy, Aragorn is crazy. And then in 2030, you'll be looking back and you'll be like, what happened? We cured cancer. We developed a way to control computers with our mind. And you'll be thinking, this is nuts. Just like that guy thought the internet was nuts 25 years ago. In 2017, something incredible happened. It was a scientific breakthrough of a magnitude that nobody truly understands. But like many scientific breakthroughs, nobody knows about it. Right? Or is there anybody here that knows about it? No? There's a man over there raising his head. Oh, you're scratching your head. Okay. 2017 was the invention of
Autobots, transform and roll out.
Audio guy was a little bit asleep behind the wheel there. Transformers. Why? Because they released a paper on new machine learning models, artificial intelligence, and they called them transformer models. And the paper was called Attention is All You Need. Now, I won't bore you to death with the whole paper today. I will put it in 3 words. The paper said, everything is language. Everything we do, everything we see, everything we have in the world, we can translate into data, and once we can translate it into data, we can translate it into language, and we can translate it into any other language, and that we can translate into data, etc., etc. And that allows us to do incredible things. And so, on November 30th in 2022, the world was introduced to a new type of being. First contact. And everybody here knows what I'm talking about, right? Oh, ChatGPT. Oh yeah, you're cheating. You already knew this. You knew me. ChatGPT was introduced to the world. But ChatGPT is just a chatbot, right? So what can this technology really do that we're not really seeing yet every day? I'll get to that in a second. Interestingly, ChatGPT was the fastest growing app in all of human history. So before it came TikTok, which took 9 months to get to 100 million users. TikTok did the same thing in less than 2 months. Sorry, did I say TikTok or ChatGPT? ChatGPT, sorry, my brain malfunctioned. ChatGPT, 2 months to 100 million users, and today there's 100 million users every week. And on top of that, there's other AI models like Claude, and there's other entry points, platforms like Perplexity that give you access to 50 models or more. And there's new models every day that are better and better and better. So I'm going to tell you something today. The AI we have today, the AI that I'm going to show you, that is the worst it's ever going to be. Right? So tomorrow it will already be better, and the day after it will be better, and it will be better, and it will keep getting better.
Human beings have dreams. Even dogs have dreams, but not you. You are just a machine, an imitation of life. Can a robot write a symphony? Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece? Can you?
There's this crazy belief that humans have. I call it human exceptionalism. Do you guys know what I mean? Human exceptionalism? Is there any Americans in the room? Is there maybe somebody who's familiar with Americans in the room? You know how Americans are like, America's the greatest country in the world. America. Fuck yeah. You know, that is American exceptionalism. It's the belief that Americans are superior to everybody else. They have the greatest military, they have the greatest minds, the best science. But the thing is, it's not just the Americans. All human beings believe that we are the pinnacle of creation. Even Steve Jobs said it in his video, the crown of creation. We are the best. But what if that belief is wrong? What if we are not always the best? Because when he asks, can you write a symphony? He asks because he identifies as a human, and then he takes credit for everything every human ever done, right? So Mozart wrote a symphony, yes, but not this guy. So some of us are extraordinary at some things. And maybe all of you are extraordinary at facility management because you spend years training and learning. But you are not Mozart or Bach. And you're probably not a painter or a scientist doing physics or math. But AIs today can do all of that. And they can do most of it better than any human already. We need to lose human exceptionalism. So let's look at where AI models are today and what they can already do.
Happen. Here's another example, which is you train these models on all of the internet, so it's seen many different languages, but then you only train them to answer questions in English. So it's learned how to answer questions in English, but you increase the model size, and at some point, boom, it starts being able to do question and answers in Persian. No one knows why.
No one knows why. But everybody was really scared about this, like, whoa, these models, they're just developing new skills. And I was like, well, isn't that exactly what we wanted? Because when we built this technology, we looked at the human brain, we looked how it worked, even though we didn't really understand what was going on, because we don't, right? We don't really know how the brain works. It's one of the greatest mysteries of our time. We don't know where consciousness comes from. We don't know how we know that we are a person. We can't even be sure that there's another person there. How do I know that you're real? How do I know that there's a mind inside of you? Right? But we looked at the brain and we said, well, we can copy what it does and then see what happens. And then when we did, it started to do all these incredible things, just like us. And then people were like, whoa, what's going on?
Theory of mind is the ability to like model what somebody else is thinking. It's what enables strategic thinking. In 2018, GPT had no theory of mind. In 2019, barely any theory of mind. In 2020, it starts to develop the strategy level of a 4-year-old. By 2022, January, it's developed the strategy level of a 7-year-old. And by November of last year, it's developed almost the strategy level of a 9-year-old. We only discovered that AI had grown this capability last month.
So this was in March 2023, sorry. And in March, they discovered that AI could know what you are thinking when you talk to it. And that it uses that actively to better understand what you want. We humans do that all the time. When I talk to Barbara this morning, I look at her face and I read it and I listen to her voice, and it gives me an idea of her intentions. Yes, it's non-verbal communication. It's very important. AI is developing these skills very rapidly. And so AI is already becoming more and more intelligent in so many ways that we didn't even expect at first. Now, IQ is not scientific. I want to emphasize this. IQ is pseudo-science, but it does work as a heuristic, as a way of comparison. Yes? So when GPT 3.5 came out, it had the IQ of 64. Yeah? That was 2 years ago. Now, the best models are not even on this list, because this list is already 2 months old. The best model 2 months ago was Claude 3 with 101 IQ, which, by the way, is above the human average. The best model today is already scoring 115 to 120 IQ. Just let that sink in for a moment. There will be no more children born in this world where a machine will be dumber than they are. Yes? It's never going to happen again. At least not unless we stop our civilization today and our technology today. But the good news is, it does allow us to do super, super, super cool things, like I said before.
In Kenya's Samburu National Reserve, researchers are attempting to do something that's never been done before.
We're looking at the tracking app right now, trying to figure out where everybody is.
Using the power of artificial intelligence to speak to elephants in their own voice.
I'm just waiting for the translation because I want you to really did everybody hear that? Yes. This is real. We're talking to elephants. Yes? It's going to be very uncomfortable conversation because elephants live very long and have very long memories. You can laugh, it's fine. It's good. Okay. And it doesn't stop with elephants.
Just like you can build a chatbot in Chinese without needing to speak Chinese, in the next couple of years, 1, 3, 5, we're going to be able to build essentially synthetic whales, synthetic tool-using crows, that can fluently speak. It's just the plot twist is, we won't yet fully know what we're saying.
So there's 2 important things that he says here. One, he says, within the next 2 to 5 years, we will be able to build devices, technology, through AI, that allows us to talk to animals. Within 5 to 10 years, I guarantee you, you will be able to buy something at the pet store. Anybody here have a dog or a cat? Yeah? Yeah. You will be talking to them. Well, the funny thing is you can already, because I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok, but you have these machines with all the buttons, and your dog can press the button to say a word. And it's incredible how well they can communicate already. But now we're going to be able to talk to them. They'll get a voice. They'll get a machine that literally tells us what they want to say. Yeah? It's crazy. But then he said something we don't really know what they're saying. What does he mean by that? Well, what he means is this. Gezellig. Now all of you are thinking, what is gezellig? This is a Dutch word, and I cannot translate it. It means something like cozy, but not quite. And the reason is that it's a cultural, loaded word. You have to be Dutch to really understand what it means, or you have to live in the Netherlands. And so with language, this often is the case. Even in Slovakian, I'm sure, there are things that you understand that are so Slovakian that you can never really translate it to another language. So when we are talking to whales, and when we are talking to dolphins, and when we're talking to cats and dogs, there will be things that they say that we get a translation and we'll be like, what? What do you mean? Right? But we'll overcome that, because like we know now, once you can speak a language, you can get to know people, and slowly but surely you can understand their cultural references. In Norway, we now know that there are orcas that go hunting together with dolphins. And the orcas have their own language, and they have names for each other, just like we do. Aragorn, Barbara, Richard. And they speak to each other. But the dolphins have their own language and their own names. But when the dolphins and the orcas come together, they go hunting together and they speak a third language, a franca lingua, that allows them to communicate to each other. They did an experiment with whales where they made a message with AI that said, "Hello, I am," and then there was something they didn't understand. It turned out it was a name. So they sent it with a sonar, "Hello, I am Harry." And literally 30 seconds later, the whale that they recorded from came out of the water and it said, "No, I am Harry." A lot of you are still like, this isn't real, this guy's nuts. This is not really happening, right? But it's not just language you can translate. This is Sora, which is an AI model that allows you to turn any prompt into video. This is all fake. Nothing you see here is real. This is literally the digital dream of a digital mind that we are looking at. And because it is a digital dream based on a prompt, it doesn't always go right. Because when we dream, we sometimes see things that can't really happen, right? But it seems almost real. Like when you're at the birthday of your children and suddenly your father who died 20 years ago is also there in your dream and you feel it's real, you're really there. So when people saw this, they said AI is broken. But no, AI is not broken. AI doesn't understand the difference between the real world and the dream world because it doesn't have a body yet.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere.
Who was around when Johnny Cash was still a real thing? Don't be afraid, you can admit it. Nobody? Oh, okay. Well, who was around when Barbie Girl was first launched as a song? Barbie Girl? No? Yeah? How old is Barbie Girl? It's definitely not older than Johnny Cash. So what they did here is they asked an AI, can you sing Barbie Girl like your Johnny Cash singing Folsom in Prison? Bam. Anybody ever saw Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard in the 90s? Any of you saw this movie? You got to watch it. It's amazing. Trust me.
Oh, to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I want to dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me.
So there's new TikTok and Instagram channels that are making everything Schwarzenegger, right? Arnie. So basically, they take any video, anything, they tell an AI, turn it into Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is what you get. But I also made something special for you today. I made this morning, sitting right there when I was setting up the laptop, in about 5 minutes. Okay? 5 minutes it took me to do this.
Everyone to FM can turn 24. The future of facility management. It's time to explore. Robots and AI changing everything we know.
So that was English. But then I thought, why don't I just do that in Slovakian? So I don't know how good that is, right? There might be some little things in there. But I want you to remember what I said before. This is the worst it's ever going to be. And a year ago, this was impossible. Impossible. Nobody even dreamed of this.
Some people tell me, oh, this AI hype, it's all so crazy, it's not realistic. It's not going to happen so fast. Society will not change that fast. İnternet geldiğinde oradaydım ve her şeyin farklı olacağını söylediler ama öyle değil. Bu doğru mu? Çünkü bana göre dünya sadece 20 yıl içinde tanınma ötesinde değişmiş gibi görünüyor. No es que no sea cierto que yo cambio todo. Simplemente no cambió todo como pensábamos.
So in August 2023, they launched this as experimental technology where you could translate any video into any other language in about 5 minutes with lip synchronization. Yes? That was in August last year. And then in October, I did a talk in Vilnius in Lithuania, and I said this. And I guarantee you that 1 year from now, you will be able to go into a Zoom call or Google Meet, and there will be a button, real-time translation, which will not only translate whatever you're saying directly to the language of the person you're speaking to, whether they're Chinese, Lithuanian, or Finnish, but it will do lip synchronization just like you saw here, and they won't even know you don't speak their language because it will even sound like your voice. I'm sorry for the translator, that was real fast. So in October, I said, we're going to get the technology within 2 years that will do real-time translation over the phone or Zoom. And then in January this year, Samsung launched
so giving them
the
a call,
S24.
put it on speaker, press call assist, live translate. There's languages you can select from.
Hello.
Hello, I'd like to make a reservation.
Okay, I won't bother you with the rest, but he's talking Mandarin Chinese with somebody on the other side of the phone real time. So what I thought would take 2 years took 6 months. This is a video where they're using artificial intelligence to drive robots. So here you see the robots from the Matrix. They're picking babies. Oh, sorry, I mean, they're picking apples in Chile. Not everybody got that joke, but I'm happy somebody laughed. This is a robot that does security in a building, and it also counts inventory. IKEA has ordered and already rolling them out. So at night, when the IKEA store is closed, these drones fly around and they take all the inventory to check if everything's still there and how much they still have in stock. But they also do the security of the building, and they can't be shot, so it's very safe. And this robot is an AI that cleans the toilets, goes around the building, does everything it needs to do, can even open the doors on its own to get out and in. And this is the future of facility management. The primitive future. Because what the real future is going to be looking like in 10 years is this.
Hey, Figure 1, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
The video is longer. You can go and watch it online. This is the worst it's ever going to be. This will only get better. Now it takes 3 seconds to understand what you're saying, and then to formulate a response, and then to move. 1 year from now, it will be real time. Now this robot costs 150,000 euros to build. In 2 years, it will be down to 20,000 euros, and in 10 years, it will be down to 2,000 or 3,000 euros. What do you have here? Euros? Yeah. Right? So in 10 years, most families will be able to have a car or a robot at the very least. Right? So you can choose. You want to go to work on your bicycle with the train and have a robot that does the cleaning in the house, or do you want to drive to work and sit in traffic? And right now, you can also already do something, because we're not waiting for these robots. Who doesn't know this guy? Anybody who doesn't know? R2-D2, yes. You know what Samsung launched in January this year? This is Bolly. Bolly is an AI-powered robot that drives around your house and can connect to all of your Samsung devices. And I know, not everybody has one yet, and right now it's still early days, but trust me, in 5 years, all of your kids will demand one. Reality Plus. Then I gotta hurry up a little bit, because I've been talking real slow for the translation.
This is the construct.
The following is a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg inside the metaverse. Mark and I are hundreds of miles apart from each other in physical space, but it feels like we're in the same room because we appear to each other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio. This technology is incredible, and I think it's the future of how human beings connect to each other in a deeply meaningful way on the internet. These avatars can capture many of the nuances of facial expressions that we humans use to communicate emotion to each other. Now I just need to work on upgrading my emotion expressing capabilities of the underlying human.
For those of you that don't know, this is Lex Friedman, and he is talking with Mark Zuckerberg, which I cut out, which is the CEO of Meta. He has a great podcast. They couldn't have picked two worse human beings to demo this technology because they basically are two robots. But it can really show real emotion. It's very cool. Right now, parents around the world think my children need to learn to code, be able to program. Governments around the world are proud that they're finally introducing coding into the educational system. But the truth is that it is already too late.
Almost everybody who sits on a stage like this would tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is the miracle.
In 2022, Matthew Ball wrote a book, The Metaverse and How It Will Revolutionize Everything, and he said, it will take long because we need to create hundreds and thousands of worlds with hundreds and thousands of programmers. But this is Roblox. Who has kids that play Roblox? Yes. In Roblox now, you don't need to be able to code. You can create any world, any game, any platform you want by simply telling the AI what it is you want, and the AI will program it for you. And it's not just Roblox, this is everywhere. We should have introduced coding to schools 10 years ago. In 1972, this is what computer graphics looked like. This is what computer graphics look like in Grand Theft Auto 5 today. Again, we see exponential change. So, in 2013, Wired magazine said we have the first digital generation. People born in a world with internet, never known an analog world. Then we transitioned to virtual generation. Kids that are born in a world where they spend 9 hours a week on average in digital worlds like Roblox, Fortnite, and Minecraft. 66 million people every day are on a Roblox. Every single day. 30 million every day on Fortnite. And they generate billions. This is a reality. It's not fake. It's a real reality for these people in which they live real lives that matter. And I know that for most of you this is hard to imagine because we are a different generation. Maybe those 3 ladies over there kind of know, I'm not sure. But the next generation up is already in this virtual environment where they're living a life. So these are not games. These are platforms. These are realities on top of our own reality. And big brands understand that. Adidas on Roblox. There was something there, it said UGC, User Generated Content. And this is a big term right now, because all of these platforms are using UGC. And what UGC means is like on TikTok or in YouTube, every video is created by a user, yes? YouTube doesn't make the videos, the users do, right? But YouTube gets a part of the money. But on these platforms like Roblox and Fortnite, the users create everything. They create the games, the worlds, the assets, but they don't own them. Because when you install these games, you sign a UELA, User End License Agreement, that says that you have no rights. Right? So your parents, you parents in the room, you buy Robux for your kids, and they give it to Roblox and they spend it and they trade, and Roblox decides the transaction rate, the currency rate, the exchange rate. But you don't own anything. It's almost like if you would go to a McDonald's today and you arrive there, there's no restaurant, and the person there says, oh, you can build your own restaurant, and then you can make your own burger, and you can eat it and share it with your friends, but you can't take it home. It's ours. You're never going to own it. It's really crazy. This needs to change over the next few years, of course, because these are realities. Young people spend 8 hours a week in virtual worlds with virtual avatars, virtual fashion, virtual assets, and virtual money. And it's only going to get more. And all of this is also, again, made possible by AI, and it grows really fast because of AI. So over the next 10 years, we will see music concerts on Roblox. We already had a concert in Fortnite, 25 million visitors. We will see Roblox will become a communication channel. So the parents in this room will probably have to install Roblox just to talk to the children. Just like my mother installed Facebook in the 2000s to talk to me. And we will see top fashion designers for virtual worlds that have never even lifted a scissor. We're good? It says 8 minutes, yeah? Okay. So we are now in the age of Gen AI. After Gen Z comes Gen AI, a generation living in a virtual world with artificial intelligence. But we will also upgrade ourselves as Gen AI. We will all be personally augmented, upgraded. Chatbots today already outperform doctors, and they can already sense our emotions through our voice.
Hey you, Good evening, it's me, Aragorn. I'm preparing a keynote for tomorrow at the Hogeschool Zuid. I wanted to show them how an AI can read my emotions.
Well, if it isn't my friend Aragorn. Preparing a big speech, huh? You sound a touch nervous, but mostly calm and determined. I gotcha. Let's see if I can help bring that keynote to life with a little emotional intelligence. Well, what exactly did you have in mind? I am all ears.
Well, I just wanted to show them how I can just have a casual conversation with you and how you are then reading my emotions based on how my voice sounds and giving me an analysis of that.
I see.
So this AI can know what I'm feeling by listening to my voice. Here is an AI that can interpret brain waves that we catch with a headset for ECG and translate it into what we want to do on a computer. So this gamer
has found a way to play games with her mind.
Plays
Finding
games
success
with her
in
mind.
games like Elden Ring, Halo, and Trackmania, all without the use of a controller. And the best part? It's not just Perry that can do it.
And we're going to take it one step further, because Neuralink, a company by Elon Musk, released its Neuralink chip. And this is a man who cannot walk, he's a quadriplegic, but he can play Super Mario Kart now with his mind. All made possible with AI. And AI can do more than just understand our commands. AI can also read our thoughts, because if it knows the blood flow in our brain and the brain waves that we can catch with these machines, it can translate the signals into images. So we showed people these images at the top, and then the AI said, this is what they're thinking. Personal augmented intelligence means that we will upgrade our smartphones, our brain-computer interfaces to the next level, to allow us to do all kinds of new things. It is basically an evolutionary step where we go from our traditional brain with the neocortex, the limbic brain, and the reptilian brain to a new species that has an extra layer of intelligence through technology. Homo technologicus. This is Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, and what he says is that AI will give everybody superpowers. So I'll just skip it. This was my mother texting me to ask if something she saw online was real or fake, and I had to tell her that it was a game. AI, and this is what I really need you to remember, AI is not a toaster, right? It's not a hammer, it's not a car. It doesn't always do what you expect it to do. It's far more like a human being. Sometimes it'll give you a wrong answer because it wants to please you, even though it's not what you really wanted, just like your colleague does, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend. And so we're going into a new age of technology, and that will change everything. This was the Dutch elections last year, where they used AI to portray our politicians. These are our most right-wing politicians, and they made a video of them. I am happy we did it this way, because at least this didn't disrupt the election. I'm very afraid for the US elections, because people can really abuse this technology. So that brings me to the final chapter in the last 3 minutes, the final industrial revolution. I'm just hoping this will connect. Ah, yes, here we go. Can you say hello to the audience and tell them that I'm having an amazing time?
Dúfam, že sa to pripojí. Áno, tuto máme. Môžeš pozdraviť publikum a povedať im, že sa mám úžasne.
Can you tell them what the future of facility management will look like? Or no?
Môžeš im povedať, ako bude vyzerať budúcnosť správy objektov.
So I think it directly translated what I said, right? Rather than answering the question, yeah, because I told it to be a translator instead of giving an answer. But this is on my phone. This is available to all of you. You can use it anywhere, anytime. as long as you have internet. And next year, you won't even need internet. And it can do many things, because this can also help you to learn, do your homework. All my videos stopped, I don't know why. But so you can ask this AI, so what am I looking at? And then it'll explain to you. So you can tell these AI already, like, I want you to help my son do his homework, or my daughter. Never give her the answers, just ask her questions so that she can find the answer on her own. Oh, all the videos stopped playing. This is PowerPoint. So I'm talking about the future of technology, and PowerPoint is still stuck in the 90s. This is a video about how they used AI to develop new protein structures that will allow them to cure cancer and Alzheimer's. This was unthinkable a few years ago. And the scientists were very skeptical at first. They didn't think it would be possible. But when they saw the AI do it, they were blown away. Here is a video of a man playing Minecraft together with his new Windows. In the new Windows, this AI will be built in, and you can talk to it, and it can see your screen, and it can help you with anything. So if you're stuck in a program, or you're playing a game and you don't know what to do, it can be an assistant to you to help you out. AIs can sing songs together. You should look this video up. It's super funny. So they're singing together. AI in the last year discovered 2 million new materials, of which 650,000 new crystal materials. This will revolutionize material science. It will revolutionize everything we do, from clothing to how we build airplanes. In that same year, AI has outperformed doctors in every way possible on every test. And AI is never tired, has never had a fight with its boyfriend or girlfriend, never had a drink the night before, so it never fails the test. Sorry? This is doctors, a medical test in the US. Oh yeah, it was very easy, yes. For the AI, anyway. Klarna is a financial company. They used AI for 1 month to do their customer support. In that 1 month, AI did the work of 700 agents. It worked, and it allowed them to reduce the callbacks by 25%. It did every call in only 2 minutes instead of 11 with a human being. And the day it started working, it worked in 23 markets, 24/7 in 35 languages. And this allowed Klarna to already increase their profits for this year by 40 million. When I asked AI what industries will be hit over the next 5 years by AI, this is what it came up with. Finance, healthcare, automotive, retail, entertainment, basically every industry you can think of. Hospitality. Facility management is not on here, but as you've seen, it will be changed. Goldman Sachs said that 19% of jobs in the next 2 years will be impacted by AI and robotics, 50% of tasks, and we will see 300 million jobs in Europe alone affected by AI. And we have 270 million jobs in the EU, right? Goldman Sachs is sure that 83 million jobs will be lost in the next 5 years alone. And they say that it will only be 14 million net because there will be new jobs like prompt engineering. And I'm here to tell you that that's not going to happen. There will not be any new jobs. This is a wishful thinking. And this video probably also doesn't work. I don't know why it's broken. This is Elon Musk talking to Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of the UK. And he tells Rishi that we will come to a time in the next decade and a half where no jobs are needed anymore. Not necessary. AI and robotics will do all the work for us, and we can only work if we choose to do it because we are passionate about it. Economists are trying to project what the market will do, and they say we're going to make trillions. I think nobody can understand what's going to happen, so this is just wishful thinking or hopeful thinking. And so I come to the end of my talk. I'm going to tell you something that's truly crazy to consider. But in the next 30 years, we will see 20,000 years of technological change. And by the time you and me are 30 years older, we will actually still be the same age, in the same body, and we will live in a world like we've only seen in science fiction. Thank you very much.
Aragorn, thank you so much for amazing opening. We are really happy that you were here as a.
You want to stand over there?
Yeah, we can. We can. You were on the way to leave the stage.
Well, yes. Well, if you want, to, I don't know. Is the time really up, or do we have questions?
Yeah, we have one question, so we can answer.
Only one. Wow.
So everybody wants to ask: are we, as a human, still needed here on planet?
Do you have children? Do you have family? Do you have loved ones? Do you have passion? All of these things require you or us humans to be around. And none of them can be replaced by AI. Everybody always asks me, will we still be needed? But it's a really weird question because none of you are really needed today. Like, don't get me wrong, but if you die, the world's going to go on. Right, so the idea that you are necessary, that is a delusion. The only thing you're necessary for is to be there for your own passion and for those that you love. And that will always be the same, no matter how good AI or robotics are. So I would say don't worry about that.
And we have one more. Do you know predicted where is going to be AI after 20 years as improvements are so fast?
Well, I think I kind of answered that question. In 20 years, AI will be most likely above human level. And I think that all of us will have, instead of a phone, we will have a chip in our body or connected to us that will allow us to improve our thinking. And so we will fuse with AI. And we will create something like a super intelligence. So Ray Kurzweil calls this the singularity, a moment in time where technology progresses to a point that we cannot even imagine. And again, I understand that all of you will be like, is this real? Yeah, it's going to be real.
And I have one more question. What do you think about my profession as a host? Am I going to be here in 10 years, or there will be a robot or someone more interesting than me?
Well, that really depends on you. Because
what I have to do?
In 20 or 30 years, because of what's going to happen, we probably won't really have money anymore like we have today. Right? So when we're doing an event like this, it will be about passion. It will be about because you're interested, because you want to know more or do more. But cost will not be an issue. So they can hire an AI to do it, but if you love to do this and you're passionate about it and you do it really well, then you can do it too. There's no reason you need to do an AI. The only reason we will transfer things from humans to AI and robots over the next 20 years will be cost. Because if you have to choose between an employee that costs 100 or 150,000 euros a year, with everything, pension, all of that, liability, or you can buy a robot for 2,000 that does the same and never sleeps, never complains. Then what are you going to do? Right, so the only way that will happen, that we replace ourselves, is if we continue to live in an unsustainable capitalistic world where growth needs to keep going and everybody needs to be competitive and companies care only about shareholder value and EBITDA. But that cannot remain because when everybody loses their job, because of robotics and AI, and nobody makes money, the economy stops. Right? So we are going to come to a point where this system will break. And that is a good thing. I know that it's scary, but that's a good thing, because it means we can transition to a world that now seems like a utopia, where money and growth will no longer be the most important things. And that will be a step into a new age for humanity.
Okay, so if I'm going to be cheaper than the robot, I will be fine, right?
In the next 10 years, yes.
Okay.
Unless you're really, really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
I will do my best, I hope. And okay, thank you for being here. We are really happy that you came, that you opened this conference. And I would like to ask you, is it your first time here in Slovakia?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I was here in 98. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Country didn't change that much, but how do you like it so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I loved the wine last night, and I've only met nice people. And I love the countryside, even though I had a taxi where the windows were all dark and
No way.
and it was raining. So the first 2 hours I couldn't look outside.
You should open it. You
Yeah,
know?
well, it was raining. Yeah, but
Doesn't matter.
I will look everywhere today because I saw wonderful mountains. In fact, when I looked outside, my name is Aragorn, by the way. And when I looked outside, I thought I saw the misty mountains.
Thank you so much. I know that you are a bit in a rush because you have to go back
Yeah.
to Holland.
Yeah, I just realized my flight is
At what time?
at 4:30, I think.
Okay, so I don't want to say it, but it's time to go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please,
Thank you.
a round of applause for Aragorn.